and welcome to the 77th episode of GameSpeak Podcast. New episodes go up for free every Wednesday in audio format on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and all of your favorite podcast directories. And in video format on YouTube, so you can see us in stunning HD. This show is two childhood BFFs bringing you all things video games. You can find us online at createforsanity.com, where you can listen to episodes, subscribe for behind-the-scenes news, read radical articles, and buy some sick T-shirts from our shop. Also, be sure to join the community in the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/GameSpeak Podcast to hang and talk games with other nerds like us. I'm one of your hosts, Jamel Al-Jafra, alongside the Brent.
I think you might have done that one before.
I might have, but I feel like I went flat on one note this time.
Yeah.
Which completely changes
I was
the
about to
whole
say,
feel.
I actually think we had this conversation when you did that because, like, you changed notes on that one, and you were like, if I just change notes every time on that last one, or
I had something
go up
else
an octave or something.
It. Like, I had something else, like, completely different planned for it, but I was I was lacking the self-confidence to bring it out.
Were you going to hit that falsetto?
No, I'm not afraid of the falsetto. I'm afraid of like doing like a run, like just jamming it. I'm gonna see if I can do it. I'm working on it. I'm actually practicing it outside of this.
Yeah.
Like at all times, I'm like which sounds really weird,
That's
I'm
not
just
weird.
chilling with my girlfriend,
Practicing
and then,
your vocals.
She's like, "Why do you keep singing about bass? What does that mean? What are you singing about?" I'm like, "Trust me, it's gonna be worth it one day." For me. So eventually I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit that beautiful run.
The brown note.
It's gonna be a lot of notes and just one bass. So y'all, one day it'll be here. I'm doing vocal warm-ups every morning. I'm like running through these like fucking pitch and agility lessons and like all just for this one thing, dude.
That's
it's
beautiful.
Gonna happen.
That's beautiful. What else have you been doing outside of this podcast besides vocal lessons, learning how to sing my name better?
So why are you here at these vocal lessons? I gotta learn how to sing my best friend's name
for a podcast.
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think what has been happening. I don't know if I talked about it before, but this is the second time I've done an escape room.
Really?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fantastic.
You had a good time?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to take my girlfriend to do one. Do you think she would get a kick out of it?
Yeah, I mean, if she likes solving puzzles, that's the thing. Because, I mean, it's pretty difficult. I've done two now, and we haven't been able to get out.
Really? You didn't get out either time?
No, we've gotten to, like, the very last part of it. And was
it just you and one other person?
No, it was four of us this
time. 4
time.
of us? How many can go max? 4?
10.
10?
Yeah.
I might get a little convoluted with 10 people all trying to show clues to each other and shit.
That's what I was thinking. 10 would become overkill because I feel like probably 4 of the people wouldn't even do anything.
If I had 10 people, you'd have to almost like assign somebody like the role of like lead detective or something and have everybody bring the clues to him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely lead detective. I could see that.
I
want to be lead detective. That's the thing. Like, that's how I feel when I'm in those rooms. Like it's just like you get this strong urge to just like, yeah, oh, don't worry, guys, I'll handle everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, luckily, I have the self-awareness to not do that. So like, I'll just be like behind people, like, just give it to me, just give it to me. I just want that. But like in my brain, because like sometimes you feel like you're smarter than you are. I know as soon as I get that letter, I'm going to be just as stumped as that person, but I feel like something's going to click,
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool, though. Like, the way that they have it set up. I did the one in the Woodlands Mall. It's like...
It's in the Woodlands Mall?
Yeah, so there's like these office buildings built into the Woodlands Mall that are like kind of off to the side of the food court. Like, you just go through this door by the food court, and it leads to this long hallway. And like, yeah, I never knew this was here.
Are you kidding me? I could have just been doing this whole time. Now, do you have to like reserve a spot to do this?
You don't have to. The first time we went, we didn't reserve anything, and we were the only ones there. This time we went at a later time in like the evening, so they said to reserve, just because that's like their busy time.
Yeah.
But even then, it was just us four. Nobody like booked in the room with us.
That's so cool.
But the problem with escape rooms, you do them one time, whether you win it or not, you already know everything up until that point.
Don't they have like multiple themes you could do? I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just mean for that specific room.
Yeah.
It's like now I've done the clock tower one, which is like steampunk, super cool. And then Western Heist, which was really cool.
Oh, that sounds fun. I want to do like a jailbreak one. I think that'd be kind of fun.
That one would be pretty cool. The place that's at the mall, apparently the guy who made it built like one of Rob Zombie's haunted houses or something. Like,
that's cool.
It's really fucking really cool. It's like they pay so close attention to the detail and everything. Like it's really cool. And they had one. It's like a submarine.
Oh, that's fun.
It's like theater with like marionette puppets and stuff like that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, dude. Except for they'll kill you.
That's terrifying, but
yeah, but still fun.
I don't know if I want to be locked in that room.
Yeah. Anyways, what you been up to?
Oh man, all kinds of stuff. My mother got a brand new car, and it's like super sweet. But then she was like, "I'm giving you my old car."
So you got a brand new old car.
I got a brand new old car, dude, and I'm whipping it,
dude,
bro.
That's what I like to hear.
I got the FJ Cruiser, dude. I've got this
FJ
big blue ass
that
fucking,
one?
yeah.
The like submarine.
Yeah, I got the submarine, dude. I am whipping it, dude.
That is
the
awesome.
Tonka truck, dude. I'm killing it.
It
in
really
that thing.
does look like a Tonka truck.
It's great. I'm loving it so far.
I like the way like it feels to be inside of it and like looking out the weird windows.
It really does feel like you're in a submarine. The only problem is there's like a big blind spot on the back, but other than that,
who needs sight when you're driving?
Sight? Yeah, you kind of gotta just like at least it's big enough to where I just like basically smash anything that was like I would hit in the blind spot,
Just like killing all these animals, like not even done.
Let's see what else has been going on in my world. I've been playing all kinds of great video games. I watched that movie you told me to watch a long time ago.
Which one?
Hereditary.
Oh my fucking god, I love that movie.
It's a good movie, dude. Wow.
Like for real though, we got to take a second to talk about that. Is that not like the
it was unexpected, dude. It was good. It was really gets you thinking, and it was horrifying in like a weird way. You know what I mean? Like
the I'm not really spoiling anything with this, but like the whole scene with like the body just like the headless body like floating up and then like just going off into that like like tree house.
Oh my god, that shit was
it was just like
weird.
Whoop. I was like, hell no, dude.
And he just walked up in there.
Yeah, like
I think
what?
he was. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything. We
might as well just like talk. I feel like people want to hear about it because if you haven't watched Hereditary yet, you probably don't want to watch it.
I think at that point he was already possessed to the point where he was just like following the demon's orders or whatever.
Because he jumped out the window. He was payment.
There was so much about that movie. It was almost like a Donnie Darko type situation where you want to watch it again immediately afterwards to like try to collect all the information. And even after watching it, I'm still not sure if I've got the story right in my mind, but I have this like idea. I don't know. It's weird and it's fucked up and it's kind of open to interpretation a little bit.
What do you? Hold on, I'm gonna fix the computer. Tell me what you think happened. Give me your little like idea, your theory.
My theory is like, okay, you know how there's a scene, like multiple scenes in the movie where there's like this light that like leaves their body and like goes into a like just like kind of circles the room and like goes out the window or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember.
So I'm thinking that light that appears periodically is the demon jumping from body to body or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it also obviously goes back to the grandma somehow. So I'm thinking the grandma has planned this whole thing and maybe was even possessed by the demon beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also, I think, oh man, there's so much to it. You know, like so many little parts that make sense at the end. You're like, oh, it's like the part where the dude, like, is busts into flames when she throws the book in the.
Oh yeah. So like,
I think he was possessed at that point because he was basically talking her out of it, and like as soon as it came time to throw the book in the fire, he's like, "No, I'm not gonna indulge you," and then she throws it in there. I don't know. I really think that he was possessed at that point, and then it goes into her.
No, okay.
After that, right? Because then
she was tricked into burning it because the demon wanted him dead, so he could get to the family. So like it was like what's the word for it? Basically, it was tricking her, and so she didn't expect that to happen. She thought it would kill her, and like, but that was its goal, was to get her to kill off the dad. But because the dad also was like the only thing keeping the demon from getting into the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so I mean,
see, like I was under the impression that the demon was already in the dad whenever she like, and the reason, because like you notice it was kind of tricking her, but like, you know, he
was almost taunting in a way of like, don't do that, I guess. But
I mean, the demon had definitely possessed the dad, and like if you notice, there's a part where they're reading through like some text that the grandmother had or whatever, and it talks about how the demon prefers a male body. So I have a theory that at that point, the demon had already found a suitable male body and was content with being in the dad. But then she threw the thing in the fire, and it like combusted the dad or something. I don't know.
No. It couldn't be the dad because it had to be a strict bloodline.
But you notice immediately after he died, she became possessed because it had to leave.
Yeah.
And my theory is that it had to leave the body because the body was dead.
Well, yeah, it did have to.
Oh, you're right. It did have to be a strict bloodline.
Yeah, it had to be the son. It couldn't be the dad.
It could just possess whoever, though, right? Couldn't it?
It could possess
for like a
whoever.
temporary amount of time.
Exactly. So Payman had to go into the grandmother's line of blood, which was the son. So the dad was not needed and couldn't be used.
Right. It could have used the mom, but it preferred to be in a boy body.
Well, because it was in the girl. What's the girl's name again? I forget, but
yeah. No, the little creepy girl that was cutting off bird heads and being all over the place. Yeah,
she's doing too much of that, dude.
She was fucked up. I honestly, when I first started watching that movie, I didn't really know what I was getting into, and I thought there was going to be like a movie about the little girl just killing her whole family or something.
Too.
And dude, oh man, that was a wild movie, dude. Everybody needs to watch that.
Yeah, it's a fucking wild ride. Yeah, definitely go watch that movie, please, guys. I want to talk to people in the group about that movie. That sounds freaking awesome.
It's epic. And then, of course, have you heard about all these rappers that are mad at each other and writing crazy rap songs?
Oh yeah, of course, because of Kamikaze. Eminem dropped his album Kamikaze. Man.
If you haven't heard this, if you like rap music, it's probably worth a listen.
It's the first time anything interesting beef-wise has happened in rap in a long time.
It is. It really is.
Even though the MGK song that like he came back to diss Eminem with, he got it produced by the same person who produced the song that talk shit about MGK. Like it's all
no, Dr. Dre produced that.
What? No, I'm talking.
The whole Kamikaze album was Dr. Dre and Eminem production.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. I just looked it all up. The guy. So I forget the dude's name. It was like Jay or something like that. Who he produced the Not Alike, or no, he produced Ringer, and so he went and he got the same guy that produced Ringer to produce or co-produced on Ringer to produce on his, so or to produce that song like a day after Kamikaze came out. And I feel like they had the shit lined up because like some of the lyrics that MGK had already just ready to go, like the day after. I was like, no way he came up with that. It's just like that quick. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe he like already had it written and he was like,
one day I'll need this.
You know, like
all I'm saying is it seems kind of fishy to me. But like all of a sudden he's like calling out people that makes no sense to call out. Like, I mean, let's make fun of the mumble rappers. Let's make fun of MGK because, you know, he said your daughter was hot when she was 16 or whatever.
Is that what happened? Is that why this is all happening?
Yeah, well, he got pissed off because when MGK was 21, he like tweeted out like, yo, Haley's hot as fuck or whatever on Twitter, and she was only 16 years old. And Eminem was like, what the fuck? And like, you know, tweeted back at him, and then blacklisted him from like Shady Radio and like all this stuff.
Shady Radio.
Whatever it's called, you know, like Eminem's radio station, and like so MGK was like, yo, he was my idol, man. You know, he used to be my idol, but you know, ever since I like creeped on his daughter, you know, things haven't been good. And then he did a song with Tech-9 like a couple months ago talking shit about Eminem. And that's why in the song he's like, next time.
But I listened to Tech-9 really avidly, and I've heard every I'm sure of it that I've heard every collaboration between MGK and Tech-9.
Yeah.
And I have analyzed that song, which I assume is the one that they're talking about, the Mosh Pit song or whatever. And I can't find any kind of trace of a diss in there at all.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You have to. I haven't heard the Tech-9 and the MGK song, but apparently he just like takes some.
Because I know in the Eminem diss he does mention Tech-9 for some reason.
Yeah, because he said next time don't go through Tech and Nina or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, just he's like, bring a real Tech-9. That it's like Eminem. That's not what you want. You know, you're just a rapper. You know, like why are you trying to make this into like?
You know, let's all not forget that Eminem ran up and punched Fred Durst in the fucking face that one time. You know what I mean?
Fred Durst. Let's not forget that he shot paintball guns at the Insane Clown Posse.
That's as what I'm saying, dude.
But this is like, it's comical, you know, like
it is comical, but it's comic mischief that could come the way of fucking
Tech-9.
Machine Gun Kelly. You know, I don't think Machine Gun Kelly's gonna run up and punch Fred Durst. You know what I mean?
I honestly think he would. He looks like he's on enough meth to do that.
Dude, Machine Gun Kelly was on Catfish the other day, dude, with hanging out with Neve, dude. You know, he's not trying to run up.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think.
I don't know. Maybe he would.
I mean, he's got like a.
We'll have to see. Maybe they'll square up.
Maybe Tyler the Creator will run up on. This is my favorite thing. This is 2018 rapper beefs. Lil Pump, Tyler the Creator, MGK. You know, like we've reached a sad point in hip hop. You know, like. This is our biggest beef. We used to have like Tupac and Biggie, you know, who actually both were murdered and still like their cases haven't been solved, you know.
It's true. This is true. We need some good hip hop murder. Well, we had a couple of hip hop murders actually recently.
And by the way, guys, this all goes in line with the show.
Right. We're talking about true crime. No.
Yeah. But so yeah, we'll jump into the video game, and we're gonna go off on a tangent for years if we keep going into the rap.
We could talk about rap beef all day.
We need to start the rap cast.
The rap beef cast.
Rapper beef.
The only problem is I feel like we wouldn't be able to put out enough episodes. We could only put out an episode whenever some rap beef went down.
No, dude,
we could like analyze the lyrics and the beef.
It could be one of those like random, like, you know, like there's certain podcasts where they only do like one whenever something pops up.
That would be a dope podcast just called Beef. And like we go through a different rap beef every episode.
Then like if we run out of material, eventually we could just go into like beef between like actors and stuff like that. You know, we could do whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We'll call it. Or we
beef.
could call it 100% beef cast.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like beef is going to be taken. You're telling me there's not some like hippie,
there's gotta be
like vegan show called like Beef where they're talking about all the terrible things beef does to the body?
Why does it have to be that?
I'm telling you, that's a show.
Yeah, you're probably right.
We're gonna go on iTunes after this and see what's available for our beef show. So, but anyways. So just so you guys know, let you know every time, we're using articles from gaming news sites from around the web, and we do not claim any of the material as our own. We are simply giving commentary on these articles in the gaming news. So,
yes.
Brent, you start us off.
Let me lay it on you right now. EA has announced that it will make a VIP demo for BioWare's Anthem available to EA Origin Access subscribers on Xbox One and PC retrospectively on February 1st, 2019. The demo will also be available to pre-order customers because it would be fucked up if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Which opens the door for PlayStation 4 players to get in on the action.
Yeah. Okay. So Battlefield 5 has been delayed. The World War II shooter will now launch for PS4, Xbox One, and PC on November 20th, publisher EA confirmed in a statement. The company says the delay will give developer DICE additional development time to fine-tune the game as it sees fit. Quote, we're going to take the time to continue to make some final adjustments to core gameplay and to ensure we really deliver on the potential of Tides of War, wrote DICE General Manager Oscar Gabrielson. We know moving the launch date means that we all have to wait a little longer, but we're going to take our time to make sure we get it right. Battlefield 5 was previously scheduled to launch on October 19th, meaning the new date represents a delay of a month. It also means the game will now be released after Red Dead Redemption 2, along with other big titles like Hitman 2 and Fallout 76.
Damn, they just shot themselves on the foot right there.
Definitely. Do you think that's going to hurt them?
I think a little bit. I think, especially launching next to Fallout, especially if Fallout 76 is good.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's going to be a wave of people that buy Fallout 76 day one, right? And there's going to be the reviews are going to come out, and when those reviews come out, how good or bad they are is going to affect tremendously the success of Fallout 76. That being said, I think if Fallout 76 does well, it's going to do really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's going to like take over for a while. You know what I mean? It's going to pull a Fortnite and just everybody's going to be playing it, you know?
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Like this is so it'll be out after Call of Duty, I believe. So do you think people will have gotten their fill for Call of Duty by that time, or will it still be kind of affecting what?
It's hard to say,
it's only
man.
Like a
you
month.
know, I thought World War II was going to do a lot better than it did, and it kind of, I mean, it didn't. I wouldn't say it flopped, but it didn't do nearly as well as like the other Call of Duty games. People aren't like still playing it, really. You know,
or at least not talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what you got?
Okay, let's see. Video game development is a fluid process.
What?
Things change all the time, through development until launch and beyond. One thing that changed with the upcoming SpiderMan PS4 game due out next week was the size of puddles in a particular scene. This has led to claims that developer Insomniac Games in some way downgraded the game's graphics.
They're lawyers.
And now the developer has spoken up to stress that there has been, quote, no downgrade. Writing on Twitter, Insomniac Games confirmed that it has changed the size of the puddles, indeed, but stressed that there is no downgrade at all. Some believe that Insomniac had to scale back the graphics to meet performance demands, but it appears this is not the case.
How do you feel about this? Do you think that they made smaller puddles?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a dynamic weather system and it's like a different time of day or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do they know that it's not just like the puddle shrinks and gets bigger or something, you know?
That's true. But the internet sleuths have already, gone through and like been like, or taken like screenshots from like the original footage they showed off versus the footage that just came out this past week. And they're like doing comparisons, and they've brought up these.
Yeah, but that's the only evidence they have is those two segments,
the color,
which are like the two same spots from the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But also the color of Spider-Man himself. He looks more cartoony in the more recent trailer than he did. Like he looked way more realistic in the first one. If you go and look at him compared.
Well, you got to ask yourself several questions. Are they playing on a PS4 Pro? Are they playing on a 4K TV?
That's not the question, though. Because, I mean, they're going to present it to you in the best possible quality before it comes out. So the thing is, I feel like people are mad that they always do that, where it's like, oh, this is the game, but it's actually running on a PC on, like, the highest specs possible. But you'll never play it that way. You'll never see the game,
I mean, there's
PC.
lots of people that were playing it on the floor of E3, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're still playing the demo on a PC. That's the thing is like typically whenever you have
No, they're not.
yeah, the vertical slices that they play on the show floors are usually still being played on a PC.
I mean, you can see the PlayStations in some of these videos, like where the celebrities are playing it, like Snoop Dogg and shit. They like are sitting
I've
there,
actually read that they'll put
like, hooked up to a console.
They'll actually put out like a fucking PlayStation to make it look like they're playing it on the PlayStation when they're not. Like, or
I'm gonna need some info backing this. I feel
also,
like that just seems like some conspiracy theory shit.
It's not. It's not though. That's the thing. Okay, I'm saying the whole Spider-Man thing might be. It might be just overblown, but they do that. Like they, and not even necessarily just with the PlayStation. So like,
I know Watch Dogs was really frowned upon because it didn't look as good as they showed it off to look.
Yeah, and also
but
because
I
these
personally
games
thought it was a good game still.
are literally a vertical slice. So like what they show you in-game footage, they don't have the rest of the game being loaded up and playing in the thing. It's just that simple, that one little spot. So all of the power of whatever system or computer they're using is going just to that. So like you're going to get this like beautiful thing that you'll never ever see, you know? Like,
and we'll have to see. I think it's going to still look great. I think this is a bunch of, people trying to find any reason to make Sony's next exclusive not be a hit again. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean?
I don't know. I think people are fed up with the fact that Sony's putting out a freaking 9.5 game every few months. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just personally think a lot of people online are pissed that they can't play a lot of these games because they don't have a PlayStation. So they just try to make themselves feel better by bashing any exclusive. Like I was listening to these people bash Horizon Zero Dawn the other day, and they were just reaching so hard. I mean, you can't bash that game. It's so good, These people bashing God of War. It's like, it's so good. It's just so good. You can't, if you really sat down and took your time with it, you just can't say it's a bad game. You just can't. And I don't know. We'll see how Spider-Man fares, but if it's anything like the string of games that's been coming out lately, I have high hopes. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a bad game. I just don't think that they didn't downgrade. I mean, just because they downgraded doesn't mean it's going to be a bad game, but I honestly, seriously doubt that they didn't. It's kind of obvious in the pictures. They did change some stuff, and the way that reflections work in the new trailer versus the one that they showed off are completely different. I mean, and the fact it's only coming to PS4, so there's not a PC version that they could have been like, oh, that's just because it was on this or whatever. And they're going to be showing what they have on the highest res possible so they would have a PS4 Pro. It's not like they're sitting there playing it on a normal PS4.
Yeah, definitely.
And even then, you can see the huge difference between the two. I saw a huge difference, especially whenever they took screenshots side by side and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I said, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just it is what it is. Why do people expect to get a game whenever they see these next gen graphics on the current console? Why do they expect that to actually be a thing?
I think in modern times, because you play a game like God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn, you see how it can be done in real game.
Yeah.
I mean, that game is both of those games are fucking so beautiful. It's insane. You know what I mean? And I think people are a little bit spoiled. You know what I mean? People saw that God of War, and it's just man, if they can do that, I mean, Spider-Man better look fucking really good. You know what I mean?
True. I could see that being the case. But I mean, people have been doing this since the Xbox 360. People have been freaking out about graphics and stuff like that.
True, but I mean, I don't know. Some of these, particularly God of War, it's it looked even better than you'd think it was going to look because no YouTube video can do it justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's insane once you get the actual hardware powering it up. And I didn't even try it through a Pro, and I know it's got a significant boost in graphics with the Pro. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely.
But then again, I feel like Xbox One X has this powerhouse over here, Gears of War better look good as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They really need to utilize the power in the One X for something. some kind of exclusive, you know?
Yeah, definitely an exclusive. But I mean, like right now, basically, if you have the option between, like, if you're a person that only cares about graphics and stuff, you're gonna go with the Xbox One X because most of the games you can play on the PlayStation, you can get on the Xbox as well, except for their amazing first party games.
Yeah. I mean, the only really graphically astounding game that I can think of on Xbox is going to be like Suana, Soul Sacrifice, and maybe Far Cry 5, and like that's it. You know what I mean? Like I can't think of anything that's going to just blow my fucking dick off other than that on the Xbox. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I feel that.
Like with graphics. And well, some of those car games, Forza, ooh, that shit looks good.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel I understand why people are kind of upset about it, but at the same time, I don't.
Oh, Monster Hunter's on there, huh? I bet Monster Hunter looks good as hell.
Yeah, it does. But anyway, so Sony's new overall CEO, Kenichiro Yoshida, recently made controversial comments about crossplay, and now an Xbox executive has responded. Xbox engineering lead Mike Ibarra said on Twitter that Sony, quote, still isn't listening to gamers about the crossplay situation. So all games should be crossplay and progression with the right input, flexibility, and gamer options. After someone pointed out to Ibarra, said Sony's PS4 has been outselling the Xbox One for a long time, Ibarra himself pointed out that Microsoft operates in the console and Windows PC space, which expands its gaming footprint significantly. He also suggested that Sony is doing a disservice to its users by not supporting crossplay. Quote, we run Windows and console, Ibarra said. A larger gaming audience who wants to play together. Gaming is diverse. If you only serve to bring joy to part of an audience, then you are behind in many, many ways. Going back with what Yoshida said, he spoke at the IFA conference in Berlin recently and suggested that Sony doesn't allow crossplay because PS4 is, quote, the best place to play. On cross-platform, our way of thinking is always that PlayStation is the best place to play. Fortnite, I believe, partnered with PlayStation 4 is the best experience for users. That's our belief, Yoshida said. Yoshida pointed out that Sony supports crossplay between PS4 and PC, and that going forward, the company will, quote, decide based on what is the best user experience. I mean, first off, I think they're right. Xbox, you can't really talk shit right now with your no games. But they do have a point. You know, we should be playing together. We should
Agreed.
It's like, once again, I'm at this point where it's at this crossroad where I'm like, you know, I agree that, yeah, you know, maybe you shouldn't be giving advice. But at the same time, it's good advice.
Frankly, I don't think it would hurt Sony financially to do this. You know what I mean? I don't think people would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna not buy a PlayStation now because I can play with my friend." You know, like Sony
would just make it more.
Still has the upper hand right now. You know, and they would, even if they enable crossplay, it wouldn't like give Xbox like a huge lead over them all of a sudden or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I think what it is that they're afraid of change in the industry and the way that there wouldn't really be any competition. It's like there's competition, obviously, but it'd be like, it wouldn't be outward competition. You know,
mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be like...
It would come down to just the exclusives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really.
And like just having like, you know, the people be like, oh, PS4 is better than Xbox or Xbox better than PS4.
Yeah.
Like right now, that's a huge thing for them that like the PlayStation community is the best community, you know? So like... That's one of their big things.
I don't know about all that.
Well, that's what they say. You know, they're like, this is the best place to play. The most people play here. You know, we got the most games.
I will definitely say that I meet a lot more chill people on Xbox than I do on PlayStation.
That's because you have adults versus children. You know what I'm saying? Because like typically the Xbox is going to be older people that grew up with the Xbox One, like the original Xbox and the 360 and loved it. Most kids these days grew up on PlayStation because that was the place to go automatically, you know? So like there's going to be that difference. I feel like there's a younger generation on the PlayStation.
I mean, there was just as many people from our generation playing PS2 when the Xbox was out. You know what I mean? Like,
No. I'm talking about just specifically about Xbox's community. Xbox's community is going to have way less kids because that's just not who wants to play on an Xbox.
Yeah,
Every kid I've talked to, which is weird, I do talk to kids because I run a gym. And, like, the only thing that I have to communicate with them is, like, video games and telling them about my podcast. And so, like, but they all play on PlayStation, you know? Like, they all love PlayStation. I think there's, like, one kid that I've met up there that plays on Xbox One. And he talks about how none of his friends have an Xbox One. So he doesn't have anybody to play with. So it's, like, that's anecdotal, but that's how I feel that it is. You know, you're going to run into a lot more assholes on PlayStation because they're just more immature kids out there playing on it, you know?
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. That's a good thing. That means they got the most money. The most. But anyways, what are you looking for?
Oh, I lost my spot. Let's see. Okay. Fortnite's got a grappling gun coming soon, so you can grapple. And there is a getaway heist mode coming soon, so you can like bust into safes and steal jewels and take them to the getaway point. And revolvers are being taken out of the game. So they are. There you have it.
They giveth and they taketh. So Sony has released a short video teasing the first DLC for Marvel's Spider-Man. The game hasn't even come out yet. The upcoming open-world action game. But the video offers the first look at Felicia Hardy, better known as Black Cat, sometimes villain and love interest for Spider-Man. The teaser shows her inviting Spidey to chase and capture her, and we get a glimpse at a sequence where the web slinger is running along the side of a moving train. So it's called The Heist, and it'll be available from October 23rd.
That irritates the shit out of me whenever they advertise DLC before the fucking game even comes out. It's like, dude, oh my god, like,
it's like, hey,
let the game come out and before you get everybody hyped about the fucking extra shit they got to pay for. Like, come on.
Well, that's the thing. I think they knew this was a hype, or a hype mechanism, so they can be like, okay, if not enough people know about this game, which a lot of them do. This will get it out to even more people that maybe played like Spider-Man on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. You know, it's like, oh shit, Black Cat's back. You know, I got to get the game now. You know, like,
yeah.
So I can understand, but at the same time, it is super gimmicky and like.
It really is. I mean, you know, it's like, I guess they're kind of trying to get you to bend towards buying the premium edition of the game or whatever, but it's like, come on, guys.
Corporate shills.
Let's see. Since we're talking about Spider-Man, Insomniac Games community director James Stevenson has revealed PS4's Spider-Man takes about 20 hours to beat. Stevenson unveiled the number when answering an inquisitive player's question on Twitter.
That's a good amount of time for an action game.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's too much time for an action game, if you ask me. Like, I don't know if I need 20 hours of Spider-Man story.
20 hours seems about right if there's some kind of, like, level up system in progress. Or in
yeah.
You know,
I mean, yeah, like, if you're talking about some, like, maybe side missions or something, like, and, I mean, the DLC, they're already showing it off, so, you know, there's going to be even more. My thing is, like, I just can't imagine that's almost an entire day worth of Spider-Man.
And he said that's just like the average player playing on like a normal difficulty. Like he said, some people took more time, some people took less time. You know.
Yeah.
I think a lot. It's kind of like a free roaming thing, so you can kind of like swing to your missions at your leisure, kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, leisure man. Then we got so here's the games coming to Xbox Game Pass in September or now.
Ooh, I got my Game Pass renewed, dog.
Good, because we got Halo, the Master Chief Collection. We got to get on that co-op. Quantum Break.
Shit. Bro, I'm just going to tell you right now, I tried to download Quantum Break like 2 days ago. That game is 104 gigabytes, dog.
Why?
I don't know. But when it's done downloading like a week from now, I'll fucking let you know.
It better be worth that. That sounds ridiculous.
I had to delete like half my hard drive to fucking That shit literally took up a fifth of my hard drive. Like, that's crazy.
That is some bullshit. 100 and how much? 25?
105.
105.
But that's still insane.
I feel like
for just a basic game. I mean, it's kind of old too. Like,
I feel like it's because it's just a movie. Like, it's not even really a game.
Movies aren't even that much though. They're like
or like, I don't know. I honestly couldn't even
Beyond
tell
like
you.
fucking Detroit Become Human is like a movie, and it's like fucking long as fuck, and it's like 60 gigabytes.
Maybe they just fucked up with their file formatting or something.
I
And they're
don't
just
know,
like,
man.
fuck it.
I want to try it though. I heard it was pretty decent. It was kind of like overlooked, you know.
Yeah. And then we also got Onrush, Avon Colony, Shadow Warrior, Skyforce Reloaded, Snake Pass, Manual Samuel, Gianna Sisters, Twisted Dreams, and Inner Space. I actually want to play Snake Pass. That looks fun.
I've never even heard of that.
It's one where it's like it looks like a rare game, but like it's like a snake and you gotta like twist your way around the levels. Like,
Okay, that sounds
like
kind
a
of cool.
physics based. Anyways, what you got?
Oh, let's see. Xbox has announced a limited edition Shadow of the Tomb Raider themed Xbox One X console, but there's only one in the world. The console is being sold on eBay, with all proceeds going to Best Friends, a national animal welfare organization. So that's cool. The starting price was $1,000, but several several bidders already tripled that number within hours. The bidding period ends on September 5th, so by the time you're listening, it will be sold. You can probably look up how much it sold for, but it's probably going to be astronomical.
Imagine how much that thing's going to be worth 20 years from now.
Dude, it's sick looking, too. Did you see the picture of it?
I have.
Oh, my God. For those of you that haven't seen the picture of it, it is like this. It looks like a stone wall, like an ancient stone wall with like a glowing like glyph in the middle and like moss growing on the side of it. But it's like, it looks tight, dude. It looks really, really cool. And it comes with a cool controller. So, you know, and a copy of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, obviously.
Hopefully it's signed by the devs.
Dude, it better be.
It's a one of a kind, you know, literally. So,
yeah.
Anyways, remember I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but now it's been confirmed. Henry Cavill is jumping from one piece of beloved genre entertainment to the next.
Yeah.
Trading in Superman's cape to play The Witcher's Geralt of Rivia in Netflix's live-action series. Netflix didn't provide many details about Cavill's interpretation of the character, which will appear in an 8-episode live-action series, other than the following description. Geralt of Rivia, a solitary monster hunter, struggles to find his place in a world where people often prove more wicked than beasts. But when destiny hurtles him toward a powerful sorceress and a young princess with a dangerous secret, the three must learn to navigate the increasingly volatile continent together.
It's going to be dope. I think he's going to do a really good job, personally. I think everybody's kind of like, oh, he doesn't look like Geralt, you know?
It's called makeup. It's called...
Not even that.
It doesn't even, like...
The problem is, in the Superman movies, they had him get really jacked to play Superman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, naturally, you know? But
naturally.
But Geralt of Rivia is, like, jacked in, like, a slender way, you know? So he's going to have to lose a lot of weight. And then he's going to have to, like, re-get jacked from, like, a lean state. You know what I mean? I
feel like he'll just stay lean and just lose the extra weight.
Yeah,
he'll
totally.
Just keep working out. But, like, I think, like, the thing about it, it's like he's going to look the part. They're not going to just throw some guy that looks nothing like the character. I mean, even...
He's got a nice, like, prominent chin like Geralt, you know? So, I mean, I think that's what the most important thing is. The paleness of Geralt, they can pull off pretty well, I think.
If they can hide his mustache in, Batman versus Superman, like the entire movie, then they can turn his face into whatever they want. Like, he literally had a giant mustache the entire.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they just CG'd over it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because he needed it for another movie. So, if you watch that movie, you can like see where they CG'd his mustache.
That's fucking hilarious.
But anyways, yeah. So get real.
Let's see what else we got here. From software rose to prominence. Wait, I'm sorry.
What?
From Software rose to prominence with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but the studio's newest title, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, is a marked departure from its previous works. The game still retains the unforgiving difficulty and deep combat system that have become the hallmarks of From Software, but it trades the established worlds of Dark Souls and Bloodborne for an entirely original one based on feudal Japan. However, it seems Sakura wasn't always intended to be a new IP. Speaking to games industry, From Software community manager Yashiro Kito, sorry, I probably butchered that, revealed that Sekiro was originally planned as a new installment of Tenchu, the studio's long-dormant stealth action ninja series. When we originally set out to create something different from Dark Souls and our previous titles, we thought it might be interesting to make a game themed on the Japanese feudal Japan. So from that, we started going in the direction of the shinobi and ninja. And of course, Tenchu was an IP with that history. That was the original impetus for this project, Kito explained. According to Kito, From Software approached a number of companies with the project, and Activision was immediately on board. As the two studios worked together, the project eventually grew beyond its Tenchu roots and into its own original title. He said, as we developed and as we partnered with Activision, we started to building it together, and it started becoming its own thing. And the game we wanted to make was no longer just Tenchu, so it really evolved into its own thing, Kito said.
Well, hopefully there's a lot of Tenchu aspects in it. I miss Tenchu.
Me too. Tenchu was a great series, and hopefully it kind of draws from that inspiration still. Like, I'm hoping you can still see the Tenchu in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I want to, like, vertically slice someone and then just blood, like, spray everywhere.
Hell yeah. I'll be running on the rooftops and shit.
Oh, yeah. Just parkour, dude.
Yes.
Parkour and violence.
I think that's all I got right now.
And that's all I got, too. So we're going to jump into this week's releases, where you guys get to find out what new games are coming in the next 7 days. We're going to start it off with NBA 2K19, coming to Switch, PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on September 11th for $59.99. That's not a good day to drop a game.
No.
NBA 2K celebrates 20 years of redefining what sports gaming can be. From best-in-class graphics and gameplay to groundbreaking game modes and an immersive open-world neighborhood. NBA 2K19 continues to push limits and knock down tower. No, I'm just kidding. And brings gaming one step closer to real
At least it's not like
basketball.
Commercial Pilot Simulator or some shit. Like,
oh my gosh. And then we got Marvel's Spider-Man coming to PS4 on September 7th for $59.99.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's only a couple days. Starring one of the world's most iconic superheroes, Marvel's Spider-Man features the acrobatic abilities, improvisation, and web-slinging that the wall crawler is famous for, while also introducing elements never before seen in a Spider-Man game. Mix and match a varied set of evolved combat mechanics, including melee, aerial combat, webs, stealth, and unique high-tech gadgets that highlight Spider-Man's boundless acrobatic agility and active combat style. Yeah.
That's really exciting. I don't know if I'm going to buy it right away or if I'm going to wait till it goes on sale, you know?
It's always best to wait. Even though the reviews have come out and it's like 9s across the board. So.
Really? The reviews are out already?
Yeah.
People like it?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. That's really tempting. I waited on Horizon Zero Dawn, though, and I got it for $11.99, dude.
Yeah.
And that's a whole lot of game for $11.99. And I feel confident that if I wait long enough, I can get almost anything. Yeah. I got Persona on sale too, you know? Like all these great games I got on sale like less than a year after they came out, you know.
You just don't get to be the talk, you know, or like get to join in all the talks
about it. Yeah. I'll probably end up breaking down and getting it. You know me.
I feel that. Then we got Hyper Light Drifter coming to Switch on September 6th for $59.99. Explore a beautiful, vast, and ruined world riddled with unknown dangers and lost technologies in Hyper Light Drifter, a 2D action RPG inspired by nightmares and dreams alike. Echoes of a dark and violent past resonate throughout a savage land, steeped in treasure and blood. Drifters of this world are the collectors of forgotten knowledge, lost technologies, and broken histories. Our drifter is haunted by an insatiable illness, traveling further into the lands of buried time, hoping to discover a way to quiet the vicious disease. And then we got SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy coming to Switch, PlayStation 4 on September 7th for 2018. I probably wrote down or went and looked up the price and just wrote 2018. So sorry guys, I don't have the price on this one.
It's probably like a normal game.
Yeah, it's probably I'm gonna say $49.99 because it doesn't sound like a $59 game. But play online or with friends as 14 of SNK's iconic heroines in the brand new 2v2 fighting game. SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. Activate special moves with a single button and make use of special items to change the tide of battle. However, the fight isn't over the moment you've chipped enough health away. Once your opponent is on the ropes, utilize your dream finish technique to win the match.
It's just like a normal SNK game, but we use the excuse of having only the girls to cut half the characters out.
That's true. Maybe that's something people wanted. I don't know. I don't know how those games work. We got Yokai Watch Blasters, White Dog Squad, and Red Cat Core. It's almost like Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Like you have two separate ones, but it's the same game. September 7th for $39.99, coming to 3DS. Join Jibanyan and his blasters. Is that how you say it?
No, I don't know.
Jibanyan.
Jibanyan.
And his blasters team to take down enemy yokai, and big bosses take down enemy yokai and big oh wait.
Big bosses take down enemy yokai? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, hold on. They like doubled up the sentence. Hold on. Okay, so
just go broken record.
Join Jibanyan and his blasters team to take down enemy yokai and big bosses using skills and soultimate moves with up to 3 other friends in action-packed battles. As you tackle missions, befriend new yokai to amplify your team's awesomeness. There we go.
Yeah.
We also got NBA Live 19 coming to PS4 and Xbox One on September 7th for $59.99.
How many NBA 19 games do we fucking need on the fucking same day, basically? Like,
no, one's a special day. I wouldn't go that far. Okay, so NBA Live 19 once again allows players to be the one and forge their own path as one of the best high school players in the nation, chasing the dream to become all-time basketball icon. Players
start in high school?
You start in high school, man.
Oh, that's fun.
That's why we're not famous basketball players. We didn't start till after high school.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So, Immortal Unchained is coming to PC and Xbox One and PS4 on September 7th for $49.99. Awoken and released from your eternal prison.
Woke.
Woke as fuck and released from your eternal prison. You must fight to the center of the 9 worlds to discover the dark truth. Who are you? Why are the 9 worlds ending? And what are you going to do about it? Immortal is the first hardcore shooter for the action RPG genre. RPG genre.
Oh, goodness.
My God. Guard yourself with a range of unique guns, armor, and special weapons as you fight your way across the 9 worlds to find the heart of decay. And then we got Elia. I think that's how you pronounce that. Coming to Xbox One and PC on September 6th for $12.99. Voyager 1231 River Elia Catherine Jones regains consciousness to find herself locked down in her own cabin. Kazumi, the omniscient AI host of Pilgrimage 2, is offline for the first time in mission history, keeping her blocked. It won't be long before Elia realizes that everybody else has evacuated and she is left all alone on a World Tree-class starship. Elia is an interactive storytelling adventure inspired by the work of the classic 20th century sci-fi authors. Playing as Elia, you will navigate the halls, control rooms, and ecosystems of Pilgrimage 2, the ship set to colonize Solace, a yet unexplored Earth-like exoplanet. In order to save the ship and uncover the mystery behind the disappearance of pioneering Mission Pilgrimage 1 15 years ago, you'll have to aid crippled Kazumi in fighting off an eccentric, invasive intelligence that wants to take control, that has been waiting in the darkness of space, preparing. Okay. So that's it. That's it for the games coming out this week, guys.
Wild.
Very wild.
Spider-Man's going to do well with all that bullshit coming out. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That's right. That's right, Elia. NBA 2K whatever.
19. 11. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
1911. Okay, so
jeez. So what are you currently playing?
Let's go into. Wait, do you have the PlayStation games for free? The free PlayStation games?
I know they're doing Destiny. I don't
like Destiny 2 or Destiny.
Destiny 2.
Okay, cool.
But it's just the base game.
That's fine.
But you know, but I don't think they've.
Here, you look.
Let me look.
I'm gonna talk
quick,
about what I've been playing.
They have to have posted it by now.
So this week I've put a good amount of time into Mass Effect as I've been playing. And
How much time? How long are you?
I think I'm about 12 hours in.
Oh, yeah. Definitely long enough to get addicted.
Oh, yeah. No, it's really good, dude.
Where are you in the story right now? Because it really takes off, like, at the end, kind of.
Well, I've been doing a lot of side stuff, like all the assignments or whatever. Like,
it really gets you into the lore and the stuff if you do a lot of the side quests. So
exactly.
I recommend it for sure.
No, I haven't. I've gotten off of, what was it, Pharos? The whole thing with the exogeny. You know what I'm talking about? The exogeny base. Like you meet Elizabeth and all these other people.
Yes.
So I've done all that. Now I'm just like doing all the assignments I've gained since I started the game up until this point. So like it's just been like probably a good 3 hours of just doing side quests, and I just finished the last one, so I can move on.
Hell yeah!
So
that's what I've been doing with Horizon Zero Dawn.
All the side stuff.
All the side stuff, dude. I'm like one of those people that, like, if I see there's a side quest, I have to, like, knock it out before I go on with the main quest. You know what I mean?
That's why I couldn't play Witcher 3, dude. I could not play Witcher 3.
That was such a chore for me, man. I did it, though. I played through that whole game, did all the side quests and shit. Well, not all of them. There was a couple that I like the treasure hunts I didn't really do until the end because I was like, that's not my cup of tea. But, like, specifically with The Witcher, like the fucking Witcher contracts were super fun to me. Like some of those were like a blast. So like every time I found one of those, I got real excited and I'd go get geared up and go hunt the fucking monster or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I love that shit. And I love how like diverse they were. Some of them were, anyways, but
well, yeah, I've been getting a little bit better with that. I was having some issues with the combat at first because I didn't realize you could actually assign weapons to, whoever's in your squad. I just thought that they automatically went with whatever you built up their stats with, which is dumb to think. But so once I figured that out and I figured out that you can choose their abilities to use, nobody was stepping up to me. So
hell yeah.
Okay, what's some PlayStation games?
Okay, I found them here. We have Destiny 2. I definitely was right about that one. And then we have God of War 3 Remastered, which is pretty cool. It's a good game. Then we have Another World 20th Anniversary Edition coming to PS3. Cube Director's Cut coming to PS3. Sparkle 2 coming to PS Vita, and Foul Play coming to PS Vita.
Foul as in like a duck?
Yeah, like a duck. So, God of War 3 and Destiny 2 are pretty
y'all got an Xbox beat this month by a long shot.
Yeah.
We got Prison Architect and Live Lock.
Ooh, ouch.
That's our two biggies.
Ouch.
But like
and here they lie. By the way, guys, it's still free. I forgot to mention, it's free still. For VR. It's a good game. If you got a VR, get it.
Yeah. So what you been playing, Brent?
Oh, man, dude. I've been playing some games, brother. I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn still, which I'm like, I don't really know how far I am into it, but I'm like almost level 30, so I feel like I'm like
you getting there.
Getting strong, you know what I mean? Like my character is kind of a badass now, and I'm just fucking smoking robots and like. Dude, there's a lot of like side stuff to do in the game. Like you can, there's like these big robots you can find walking around the world called tall necks, and if you climb to the top of a tall neck and like override it, you can kind of do like a Far Cry thing where it activates like an area around you and shows you like cool stuff on the map. You know,
that's why everyone was saying that it was a lot like Breath of the Wild. That's what I've heard.
I haven't particularly played Breath of the Wild enough to like know. But I'm sure that there's a lot of similarities. There's also these things you find, they're like cauldrons, and like you find these big like doors. You know, okay, like the whole game takes place in like this dystopian future, but there's like all these like remnants of like what we know from today's world. Like you'll find like coffee mugs, and it'll be like the ancient vessels or whatever. You know,
oh my
and you
God, I love that.
And you take them and you sell them to people, and I've got this ancient vessel. You know, I don't know. It's great, you know.
The future's stupid,
but like pretty much. But they're also really smart too. I don't know. It's so strange. It's like a weird mix of like caveman and like highly sophisticated technology. I don't know.
I noticed that. I got this feeling from it, from like the art direction of that game, that like it reminds me of like NES games about like cavemen and stuff like that, like the color scheme, like it's like the browns and greens.
Yeah, it's really pretty, and there's a lot of diversity to it. Like sometimes you'll be in like a sandstorm area, sometimes you'll be in this like cold, snowy area. You know, there's a lot of different like color palettes that can change with like the time of day and where you are in the map and shit.
I'm bothered by the fact that they're called tall necks, because I feel like this is so cheap. All right, like somebody was like, "What are we gonna call these things?" Tall necks. Like, okay, yeah, just throw that in the game. And this, you know, fucking like $1 million game right here. And also, I mean, that's like The Land Before Time, like long necks. You know, like it's the same shit.
I was totally thinking long necks whenever, yeah.
I'm gonna just call them long necks.
Yeah, you might as well.
Tall necks.
I don't think anybody they would all know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
They call the like they call anything sharp tooths. Like that's
there's there's a sawtooth.
Oh my God, dude! They just stole shit from The Land Before Time.
Yep. It's true.
Oh my God.
It's true. It's exactly like The Land Before Time.
LBT, dude. LBT was way ahead of its time.
Oh man. But no, I'm having a lot of fun with that. I feel like I'll be almost done with it by next week, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Because I still haven't touched the DLC at all, so I know that's a whole other thing that I can do once I'm done with that. But I'm taking my time with that game. You know, I've only got so much PlayStation Plus on my account right now, so I'm trying to like play multiplayer games as much as possible before I run out and have to go buy another couple months of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But I've been playing Firewall 0 Hour, and let me just tell you, it's a lot of fun.
Is that the VR one or no?
It is. It's the VR game that's kind of like Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, I've heard from a lot of people it was good.
It's really good, man. It's like Rainbow Six Siege, basically. I mean, it's obviously more of a bare bones experience.
Yeah,
you know, you're not going to be rappelling down walls or like blowing up the ceiling and like hopping through holes that you made, you know. But it is amazing, dude. I mean, it is so much fun. Like it's so hard to describe it because like you have your little aim controller gun, right? And you're standing there and like you start the match and like the screen goes black and you hear all this zoop, 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 like you're suiting up or whatever, and then like the fucking like world fades in around you and you're just standing in this fucking Call of Duty looking ass map, and it just feels so real. And you're holding your gun, you can like aim around corners and like poke your head around, and you got your whole squad all stacked up and you're talking to each other, and it is just
like it.
A lot of fun. I mean, and it's really satisfying, and I don't know if it's just because I'm really good at it, but I really enjoy it. Like, I don't know. I love games that I'm good at. No, I don't find them very often, but I'm really good at this one. And I don't know, man. It just feels it feels wild, man. It's one of those things that you have to try. You know,
You gotta try it.
like there's nothing like getting shot at and like running behind a wall and like looking around the wall and like hanging your gun around the wall and like over your head and stuff. Like, it's crazy.
I imagine it's like glorified paintball.
It feels a lot like paintball. Yeah, I was gonna say you get the same kind of like adrenaline feeling, you know what I mean? And then I don't know, like again, it is a little bit bare bones for what it is, you know what I mean? But it's great.
I always expect that with VR though. Like I almost like, it's like VR games are like VR versions of games. Like, I always expect them to be, like, the Wii version of stuff. Like, not in a bad way, but, like, it's like I know what I'm going to get out of it. I don't go in thinking this is going to be just as good as a Call of Duty game, you know? Like,
but see, that's the thing. This almost is. You know what I mean? I would say it's just as good as a Call of Duty game. It's not as good as Rainbow Six Siege. You know what I mean? But it's just because, like, I don't think the developers thought it was going to do as well as it did. You know what I mean? I think we might get some kind of DLC soon, you know?
You would hope so.
Because it's really popular right now. A lot of people are playing it. There are a lot of issues with it, too, though. Like, we really need some dedicated servers because, like, the host-based server thing, like, is constantly getting you kicked out of matches.
That's what I mean, though. That's what I mean by, like, the Wii version of everything. Like, that's how shit would happen with the Wii. Like, they put out a good game that you're like, oh, shit, I wouldn't expect this to be on the Wii. But because they didn't have all the, like, utilities to throw into it, it was never its full potential.
I don't know. It's hard to say it's like the Wii because most Wii games, my main problem with them is that they're ugly as fuck. And this game is stunning.
Oh, but I don't mean out of like the graphics. I'm just talking about the game itself. Like it doesn't come with all the stuff that you would expect a full game to come with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
It's like they can get away with that on VR. They can like sell you a half.
I don't think that's what they're going for because it's not like a half-filled game. It's just I don't think they had enough resources to like make a game like Ubisoft would, or you know what I mean? Like they just couldn't, you know? It's not like they didn't want to, and I don't think, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't think they had the physics engine like they do and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
of course, I'm not, and I don't mean it to be like, oh, they purposely gave you half a game. I mean, like, it's the only place where it's like acceptable to give a half-baked game, because it's like if you give a half-baked game on, you know, like as just a console game, people are gonna be like, this game sucks ass. You know, like on a VR game, you might get a half-baked game that's a 10. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
It's just like because people they know like, okay, it can't be better than this right now. You know, it's
well,
like
this one could be. Like that's
so?
the thing about this game. It's not like it's a you know limitation of the software or something. I think if you gave this game, you know, to some huge developer, they could add all these features into it and make it, you know, playable.
Why aren't they though? That's my question. Is why is there
because
not...
it's a good game as it is, and I think they were just ready to
not
get
them. I mean, like, why hasn't a big company came in and been like, hey, let's make a really legit VR game?
I think the problem is people see Bethesda's forays into VR kind of being rejected by the community.
But it's not
you know
from
what
the
I mean?
ground up. It's not
well,
like
Doom VFR was.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Apparently
and
that wasn't good.
It was hated on bad. I mean, it was good for PlayStation. It wasn't good for PC because of, you know, PlayStation has access to the aim controller, and the aim controller is basically the only way to play that fucking game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the problem is, you know, like, I don't know. And there are a few big companies making some VR stuff. Like, Ubisoft is working with Elijah Wood to make that Transference game.
Transference, yeah.
And that's going to be good. I really think it's going to be good, you know?
I think it's going to be great, but I still don't think it's, like, the type of game that I'm thinking of, where it's like, okay, this is a, like, from the ground up, a first-person shooter that's going to be on the same level as, like, a Halo game, or like, you know, like something like that. Like when somebody does that, when somebody finally makes that game, I feel like that's whenever we're going to see a bunch of people wanting a VR.
Well, and that's basically what this game is. I mean, you got to see how live the community is right now. I haven't played a multiplayer game on VR that has got me in games this quickly and this frequently, you know? Like, I'm surprised, and I'm pleasantly surprised at that. You know what I mean? I haven't played full games and like full lobbies since Starblood came out. You know what I mean? And even
nice.
Starblood didn't really have a very big following. You know.
So is it playing through campaign missions, or are you just playing multiplayer?
No, it's all multiplayer, and they only have one mode right now because the player base is so small that they have to keep everybody focused. You know, like in the one mode, or else it'll be spread too thin. You know what I mean? Like the devs have said that. You know. But I honestly think, and first of all, this game is selling the hell out of aim controllers. I've personally met like at least 30 people online that have gone out and bought the aim controller for this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I've met a few people that have bought the damn VR headset for this game. You know what I mean? It's that good. Like it really is. Like you have to try it. It feels like you're in a Call of Duty game. It really does. It's crazy.
That's pretty awesome.
Like I can't say enough good things about it, but I don't know. I think we're going to get a few patches in the next week or two that are going to make it even better, too. So we'll have to see. But, big up to Tripwire, the people who made the game.
Hell yeah. So we're about to move on to the topic of the show. And this week, the topic of the show is true crime as video games, or like true crime stories as video games. Basically, taking true crime and creating an awesome video game out of it, which there are some that have already been done. I think Condemned Criminal Origins was a really good true crime type game. I feel like...
Was it actually based on a true crime, though?
It wasn't based on a true crime, but I feel like it was based on the idea of true crimes. You know, like... And this is just history.
Because all mine are based on, like, actual... true crime.
So are mine, but I'm saying
happened.
there's not many based on actual true crimes, because I feel like that's controversial.
Well, it is controversial, and it's also kind of hard to do. I mean, you want to be respectful to the source material, and most events in real life don't play out in like giant massacres like games like
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
It's hard to find a corresponding real crime, true crime, that could be put into a video game form effectively. I didn't really think about that until I was trying to come up with some ideas for this topic, and I was like, man, this is a little harder than I thought it would be,
Oh yeah, it was a tough one for me. I definitely have some of my ideas. What's the word for it? It's almost like you're gonna have to give me a break on it. Like I'm like, some of them it's a stretch, but it still involves, like true things that have happened. So I'm kind of like, some of them, I'm like at the beginning of Paranormal Activity, where it's like, this is based on a true story.
Okay, go for it. What do you got?
Let's start with number one. Actually, yeah. Okay, so I had this idea. This is one of the ones where it's a stretch. So
lay it on me.
So I want it to be called Zion. Now, this one, I couldn't decide whether I wanted it to be VR or not. Maybe, I think it might be best played in VR. But, so, like, it's a game where the plot is super mysterious. You're kind of dropped in as this character. You don't really have any idea what's going on. And you are given, you're kind of thrown into this, like, turmoil. Like, you're in, it's almost like a narrative. It is a narrative-driven game for the most part. But there are action scenes, and say like you meet a couple people that kind of like are like, oh, you should go and do this, or like, come help me, don't trust this guy, blah 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 blah. And like, so like you're kind of deciding off of like not really knowing these people, but they're in your life. And so you follow the different characters based on their actions, and your little knowledge on the situation, or it like basically you either end up following the right people, or you end up in a murderous cult. And so like and maybe like you're following like the younger version of, say, like maybe even call it Helter Skelter or something, but I feel like that would give it away. But like I want it to be based on like a real cult leader that like, but nobody really knows what these guys looked like when they were young, so like
Sure.
Don't really say that. You kind of have to hope that nobody goes and gives the ending away, like online, which would happen. But I feel like some people are pretty good about not watching it, stuff like that. But like the whole game, it's they base it on real things that they did to get people to follow them and see if you would have fallen for it. Not knowing what the game is.
Kind of like a Telltale game where you're like making decisions periodically, but your decisions basically lead you either to the cult or away from the cult.
Yeah, you take like creative liberties in that there's a antagonist character to the cult leader that's kind of like trying to draw you away, but at the same time, you don't know. You
don't know which one's the bad guy.
Yeah, and it's very deceiving. Like some of the things they say can seem manipulating, but at the same time, it could be that they're actually genuine. And then like by the time that you're in the cult, it's already too late. So
okay, I like that.
It's like you just get drawn in, and I think that would be a fun like mental test on people. And also a fun game.
I like games like that. I think I would personally have a lot of fun playing that game.
Most deaf.
Speaking of cult leaders, I feel like it'd be cool to do a game based around like the siege that took place around David Koresh's compound whenever they stormed it.
Is that the Waco? Where's David Koresh?
Let me just read this little synopsis because I figure there might be a few people out there who don't know about David Koresh or any of these cult leaders or anything. Let me just read a little synopsis. Koresh joined a spiritual group that was based at the Mount Carmel Center outside Waco, Texas. So, yeah, this was in Waco.
The Mount Carmel Center.
Yeah, hell yeah. Sounds so like delicious, right?
Nugget.
Where the group took the name Branch Davidians. Here, he competed for dominance with another leader named George Roden until Roden was jailed for murdering another rival. The serving of arrest and search warrants by the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms as part of an investigation into illegal possession of firearms and explosives provoked the historic 1993 raid on the center. 4 ATF agents and 6 Davidians were killed in the initial 2-hour firefight, both sides claiming the other side fired first. The subsequent siege by the FBI of almost 2 months ended when the center was set on fire. Koresh and 79 others were found dead after the conflagration. Basically, he's running the cult, and they all storm the place, and there's like a 2-month standoff, and then he's like, fuck this, we're all dying together, and he burns the place down, and they all die inside, and then like a massive suicide thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, okay, what if you have a game where you start out and you're in this cult, right? And you know you're in a cult, right?
Okay, so you're already in that.
You're in the cult. You start the game in the cult, but everything's kind of hunky-dory, right? Everybody's like cool. Well, you're
singing the songs,
singing
doing
the
songs,
dances. Doing the thing. And then, as like the days pass, you start seeing more people with guns, and you start getting concerned, and you're like, shit. And then like by like day 6 or whatever, you're like, okay, I got to get out of this cult. You know what I mean? But by then, the ATF is already raiding, right? So it's like a survival horror stealth game where you're like trying to sneak out of the cult, but you're also having to like fight ATF agents and Davidians that are like turned against you.
Yeah, I like that.
Because there's 79 dead bodies, right? And they all burned up in this fire. So as far as we know, there could have been one badass dude that crept through there and killed 79. You could really play that out however you want to. As long as there's a fire at the end, you can bend the truth for the narrative all you want, really.
Yeah,
because nobody knows what the fuck was going on in there,
Maybe David himself was actually like a prophet, like he
Dude, that would be a crazy ass twist to the end.
He's like, they're going to crucify us. We must end our lives with the fire. But okay, I like that one a lot. That one would be fun. It sounds like almost like I picture like a third person like freedom fighters type movement going on.
Oh, yeah, I was kind of imagining it like a Resident Evil game where you're not like completely defenseless because you can like shoot your gun. You know what I mean?
But
you are also do what?
So do you break into supplies and get a gun?
No, you're gonna be like defenseless for like the first like quarter of the game, and then like you're gonna like hide in a closet, and then like one of the Davidians is going to jump out and stab like an ATF agent in the face or something and like leave him on the ground, with the gun laying there, and you're going to like sneak out and grab his gun.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a
maybe
good
even
scene.
put on his armor, and you get like some kind of armor thing going on.
Hell yeah. So this one's like super gimmicky, but I think and it would never get made just because of how controversial this would be. But I want to like a Friday the 13th / Dead by Daylight game, but with famous serial killers that like they each, you have like Ted Bundy or like Jeffrey Dahmer.
That's basically Dead by Day. Well, no, I guess they're not famous.
Yeah, they're not
they're
actual
like,
serial
they're
killers.
like movie serial killers. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, like you got.
I was actually gonna say we should do like a Jack the Ripper game with like. That's like Dead by Daylight or how so I mean
that counts
same
the same thing.
He could be like a character in that game.
It's just DLC, like
Fuck yeah.
and different maps for each serial killer.
Oh
so
yeah,
like,
you could go to Whitechapel where the Jack the Ripper killings actually took place, or like
just being like.
It would be hella controversial, but it would be cool.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it would actually work. Just
it'd be fucked up, dude.
I mean,
just like the Columbine kids.
That's not. I wouldn't consider that serial killing, but that would be terrifying.
One of the levels is just the school. That'd be.
Oh my gosh! Or yeah, like
we're getting real controversial on that one.
Yeah, welcome to true crime. But I think that'd be, or even like a Mortal Kombat where like each serial killer is like there, but I mean obviously you're glorifying a real serial killer who kills people,
but you're also killing them with fatalities.
Jeffrey Dahmer's fatality, he like drills a hole in your brain and then like pours acid down it, and then when you become a zombie, it's just like okay.
Oh
thanks.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. Sucks for that person that happened to. But we're making a game here. But anyways. So, what you got?
Let's see. Okay, I was thinking maybe you do like a game about the life of Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar, that would actually be really insane.
You know what I mean?
You could do that same thing, I guess, like with mafia, like. But I don't know. I guess Pablo Escobar would be different.
For those of you out there who aren't aware of who Pablo Escobar is, he is like a crazy Colombian drug lord, or was a crazy Colombian drug lord who sold hella cocaine.
He came from nothing, became something. He's hated by a lot of people, but the thing that a lot of them like to do is to like go back to their hometown where it's really poor and just like make it rain on everybody.
Yeah.
So like he becomes like a saint.
Well, not to mention he was like a member of Congress or some shit for a long time.
Parliament, yeah.
And he like renovated tons of houses and shit, like, and fixed up a lot of the poorer districts in Medellin.
But at the same time, he was murdering countless numbers of people.
He was.
So,
judges, politicians, all kinds of fucking people. He at one point, I'm pretty sure he bombed an airplane and killed like 179 people on the airplane and shit.
It's not terrorism though.
Narco terrorism, bro.
It's not. No, dude. No, he's cool. No, but so like that, I like that idea because there's a lot of shit that happened with Pablo Escobar.
Tons of shit. And you could totally have all kinds of fictional shit happen to him too, like who's to say? You know what I mean?
He didn't meet El Diablo out in the desert that day when he was burning cash to keep his daughter warm.
Oh, jeez. Well, what I was thinking, like, what if he did like a tycoon style game?
Wow, that's actually a good idea.
You know what I mean?
As fucked up as it sounds, I mean, you could do that. Like, yeah,
you could.
Colombian drug lord tycoon.
Exactly, and it wouldn't even have to say Pablo's name. He could be like Schnablo Sescobar or something. Everybody would know. You didn't even have to name him the same. You could just make him look like him, and it would just be like, oh, that's Pablo.
His name is Pueblo Escobar. It's like,
or you know what else would be kind of a cool game if you like did like a Hitman style game where you're fucking Pablo Escobar's like bodyguard or hitman or whatever, and you have to go out and like kill people for Pablo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like plant car bombs and like fucking shit like that.
That plays into the one that I was about to just talk about. So Richard Kuklinski, I don't know if you know who that is, the Iceman. For people who don't know about Kuklinski, He was an American serial killer and mob hitman who was convicted of murdering 6 people, though the true number of murders he committed is speculated to be over 200 based on claims from himself. But he was associated with members of the American Mafia, namely the De Cavalcante crime family of Newark, New Jersey, and the 5 families of New York City. He was given the nickname Iceman for his method of freezing a victim to mask the time of their death. During his criminal career, fellow mobsters called him the Devil, the one-man army. But one thing that this is where it came in. So like, apparently he was like really imposing. He's like this Jewish or Polish guy, initially nicknamed the Polak by his Italian associates because of his Polish heritage. Kuklinski earned the nickname Iceman following his experiments with disguising the time of death of his victims by freezing their corpses in an industrial freezer. Kuklinski himself claims that he used a Mr. Softy ice cream truck for this purpose. So like,
damn.
So the thing
that would be, I can see the base for the game there. You just drive around in your fucking Mr. Softy ice cream truck and.
Well, okay, so this guy, he killed people with guns, knives, grenades, crossbows, like anything you can think of. He's used it, cyanide, and so like one of the
I think I saw a documentary about this guy where he just shot that guy with the crossbow for no reason, just to see
how it worked.
Yeah,
and so like this guy, like if you ever watch any interview with him, there's like a whole bunch. There's like 3 really long interviews with this guy.
Some of them are on Netflix, I think. They might have used to be, at least. I don't know.
He's like, I had to kill him, and they're like, why? And he's like, I don't know. You just made me mad. Like it's really fucking weird, really creepy. But so one of the things that I wanted to talk about was Robert Prong, who is the guy who owned the Mr. Softy ice cream truck, who supposedly taught him about using cyanide and was an assassin himself. So like there were 2 assassins that met up, and he ended up killing. A lot of people believe that he's the one that killed Robert Prong, who was another assassin. So like this is perfect for a video game.
Yeah.
This guy in
see that whole scene play out, be like the middle climax, you know how like video games usually have more than one like arc, you know what I mean? It's not just like a movie, that could be like the perfect like middle story arc. It's so meaty, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So like and that's the thing. He was like it was from Mr. Softy that he learned about using cyanide to kill his victims. He also stated that Mr. Softy was, quote, extremely crazy. So like just imagine the sweet tooth type like assassin dude, just like driving around. You have the perfect game right there. So like
I see it. I can see it all playing out. Like,
and like they would hang out. They were like best friends. Like Kuklinski talks about it like they would just like hang out in the truck and like swap stories about like how they killed somebody or like who they were about to kill and like hit. And another thing about Richard Kuklinski, there was one point where he was going to assassinate somebody in a hotel, and he was like going up the hotel elevator, and there was a guy beside him, which I think it might have actually been Robert Prong. This might have been where they first initially met, and he noticed that he was also an assassin. I don't know how you just tell that, but he knew. He talks about this, and he's like, you're not here for me, are you? He's like, no. He's like, are you here for me? And he's like, no. And he's like, all right. And so they like went their separate ways. They killed who they were going to kill, and then they met back up at he thought he'd never see him again, and then he heard like that Mr. Softy ice cream truck going off one day, and like walked over to get an ice cream pop, and there he was, like,
wow.
And he's like, oh yeah, man. He's like, I use this as my disguise, and like, dude,
what the fuck? That's a wild story.
Yeah, that's what I want. It would have to take time. You would have to create like, I feel like maybe the whole God of War over the shoulder style. But like,
yeah, you'd have to build up from like the ground as an assassin. I think it'd be kind of cool because it'd almost be like you'd be like a super anti-hero type game,
Oh, like, yeah. Because he claims he's only killing like, people that they have hits out on, which are horrible people, he claims. But at the same time, he's killed a bunch of people.
I think it would really feel a lot like Hitman, but with more of like backstory to the actual character, because that's one of the cool things about Hitman is like sometimes you're killing politicians, sometimes you're killing somebody at a party. Like, you're totally not partial to whoever you're killing. You're just killing whoever you're told to kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have no laws.
And I think that would be cool to put in like a game that's more focused on like the moral aspects of it, but in like a immoral way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like maybe it's like Hitman, but you get to decide whether you want to take a certain hit or not. It's like, okay, you can choose your moral compass. Like,
yeah,
I won't
like,
kill innocent people.
Like, okay, let me present a scene to you. Like, you're supposed to kill this lady, right? So you kick in the door of this hotel room and you like shoot her dead. Boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden the bathroom door opens and this little 6-year-old girl walks out, right?
You shoot her dead.
Well, you have to decide at that point, do I shoot her or do I not? And so, like, you don't shoot her. Let's just say you don't shoot her because you're not a monster. And she, like, runs out of the hotel room, right? And, like, fucking 5 minutes later, you got cops outside the hotel room and you're, like, shooting your way out the door. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
shit. That's intense.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's like all the 80s. I want this all to be happening in the 80s.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Totally.
That way you have to, like...
No cell phones. Fuck all that shit.
You got to scope out your prey. you got to do it the old-fashioned way, to buy an ice cream truck, like, and like, you got to, like, build up your disguises. You have, like, options to, like, get certain vehicles and stuff that.
I'm feeling that.
I think that'd be fun. I mean, that's terrible, but I think it'd be fun. So what do you got?
Okay, this one I think you could do because it's just old, It's one of those things that's so old, I don't think it would offend anybody. H.H. Holmes.
Oh, yeah, the House of Horrors.
The House of Horrors. Okay, for those of you that do not know, H.H. Holmes was this crazy-ass, murderous, rich guy back in, like, in 1890 or some shit like that. And he bought this fucking dope-ass, like, 3-story, like, place. And, like, the first story was just storefronts. The second story is, like, apartments. And on the third story, he decides he's going to build this hotel. He's going to add a third story, basically. And so, like, he starts building all these crazy hallways to nowhere and, like, soundproof rooms and, like, horrible fucked up
Even
shit.
a vault. He built a little vault that he could see inside of, but, like, you couldn't get out of. He liked to gas people.
Yeah, he had a makeshift gas chamber. I think they accidentally blew the gas chamber up whenever they were.
Yeah, they ruined a lot of evidence. But that was like he killed one of his last wives. He had a lot of wives, and like that's how he got the money for that.
Yeah,
place's fraudulent charges or fraudulent inheritance. But he
he didn't pay for a lot of it too. Like he would like hire contractors and then just like tell them to fuck off when they were almost done. He'd be like, "Oh, this is horrible. Get out of here."
Yeah, or he'd kill them. And
or he'd
bury them in the
or sell their bodies or burn their bodies. He would sell a lot of the bodies. It's weird. He would like take the skeletons and like bleach them and sell them to like fucking scientists and anatomy professors and shit like that.
Yeah, because back then that was that was a commodity that like you basically, to study inside the human body was like an amazing thing. So like people would buy actual skeletons, like whenever you see like on TV or like on movies back in the day, like the teacher would just have a fucking skeleton hanging in the front of the classroom. But he would sell those for around like what would be about $5,000 today.
Man, that's a bet.
Yeah, so he was making bank, But like I think that would be a cool one to do.
And he had like trap doors in all the rooms that would like go straight to the basement where he had all his body disposal shit. It was wild, and some fucked off shit was going on in there. Like he was gonna open it up as like a fucking hotel, and like
he did during the
World Fair.
The World Fair,
yeah.
And he would have people come stay. Some people would get to leave,
survive.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, he was a great guy. It was a great place." But
he obviously, you can't just kill everybody that goes to the hotel, otherwise people are gonna get a little suspicious,
Surprisingly, because he ended up he would kill kids. He killed wives. He killed just anybody. His best friend.
Yeah.
He eventually killed him.
But I think it would be cool to have a game called like Escape from Murder Hotel or some shit, and it's all based on H.H. Holmes, and like you encounter all these real things that are in the hotel, and maybe a few things that are fabricated for the story. But like you could really play that up and make it cool. And also like I was thinking, since everybody talks about how disorienting and confusing the layout of the hotel is, what if you had it like a procedurally generated game where you like every time you leave the hotel room it's a different layout, you know what I mean? So you have to like find your way out of the hotel.
Ooh, I really like that.
But it's basically like a maze full of just horrible shit. You know what I mean?
That's a good idea. I like I guess that would be hard to do though with like the different mechanics because eventually it would just be the same thing, you know. But
yeah, you'd have to like.
They'd have to update it a lot.
Yeah.
They have to pull a Minecraft on this.
Yeah, and you maybe you'd have to like implement some kind of multiplayer function to keep it fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if it was just like a single story mode though, I feel like it should start where like the game like you just start by waking up in the hotel. Like or like you check in at the hotel, you go up to your room.
Yeah, totally.
And then it loads up. You wake up and get out of bed. You're like, I'm gonna go down and get some of that continental breakfast, and then head out to the World's Fair. And then like, you go and like, you put on your suit and your bowler hat or whatever the fuck you're wearing, and like go open the door, and like it won't open. Like
oh shit,
fuck.
And then gas starts pouring in the room or something, and
you got to start like trying to
water starts filling up the room, like some kind of crazy. Every time it's just some different crazy contraption, and you gotta like that's gonna be step one. You gotta escape their initial room, and then you have to like find your way out through the like.
And like he's got
madness.
like speakers coming on, and it's like
he talks to you like BioShock style.
He's like, I didn't think you'd make it this far. You know, like
yes,
he's just fucking with you the whole time.
That would be great. And then you have the final showdown with him where you just beat his ass with the fucking.
He's like, oh, I really didn't think you'd make it this far. This hurts quite a lot. No, like he even had like grease chutes built into the place, and like nobody questioned that. Nobody was like, why are we building grease chutes? He's like, I don't know.
Oh, dude.
So I can get down to the bottom floor really fast.
He had like dumb waiters and shit. He had a lot of like different like secret compartments that could like take him to different parts of the hotel. And
it's like a child's fucking dream,
dude. For real.
I mean, besides all the murder and torture, but like when I was a kid, I wanted a house like that,
with secret passageways and shit, like a Clue. Oh man, I always wanted a house like the Clue house from the movie Clue.
It's like fucking Adventure Time in his house. But my last one, this one is not based on an actual true crime story. This one, I've just always thought this would be a good idea. A GTA style online game, like a GTA style in the way that it kind of looks and plays similar to GTA, but some people play as the cops or like investigators, and then the other people play as just your everyday GTA guy, and so like and so what you have to do if you're the cop, you have to go around collecting evidence that like somehow like the game sets it up to where there's like structure to it, but you find evidence. And
how's this for structure? What if like I think the structure would have to come more on the end of the person committing the crimes. Like maybe it's not just like a run around kill everybody kind of thing. It's like you kill one person in the bathroom of like a gas station or something, and then you have to like wash your hands and hide evidence and like flush shit down the toilet and like stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, or something like that, or like basically like you have almost like that game where it's like you're trying to figure out who the werewolf is, but so like there's like 10 people playing. There's 5 cops and 5, or say there's only 1 cop and 5 5 people that are potentially killers, but they walk around like just doing their thing, but only one person has the ability to actually murder. And so you have to try and figure out who it is, and you can stop them.
Are they like knocking off other people that are real people in the game?
Yeah, that would
because that would be interesting. Like, what if you can't hear anybody talk unless you're like within like a 5-foot radius of them, or like like a reasonable closeness to them? You know what I mean? So like if you're hiding behind a bookcase, you could like see the murder take place and like hide there until they leave, and then go tell everybody else like I saw who the murderer is. It's
Yeah, and like maybe you gotta like arrest them.
Like that game I was playing, Invisible Hours, but it all takes place in real time and it's all with real people, like multiplayer, and like that would be tight, dude.
That would be tight. Or like maybe
I feel like that would play a lot like the Friday the 13th game, but kind of in reverse almost.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No. Or maybe everybody has the potential to be a killer, but only one person actually has the ability. But they got to kill people off without being seen. Or like, so it's like hey, like or not being seen, but you have to like kill someone and then try not to get taken. I don't know. You'd have to put a lot of time and thought into like building this game, but I think like the idea is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally. You do really have to figure out how it works, but that could be a really cool game.
Be fun.
I've got a couple more, but I'll just blast through them real quick for you.
Blast them.
Okay, the first one I was thinking, like, you could just insert any notable gang, like the Crips or the Bloods or the MS-13 or whatever, and just have, like, a real-life story of, like, how that gang got started in, like, a Grand Theft Auto form. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's what Saints Row was.
Yeah, but it was a fake gang.
That's true.
You know, I'm talking about like a real story.
Oh, you want to go through the real story.
Like, I want to be Tukey and start the Crips or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
or yeah, that'd be weird. That'd be tough. I feel like that'd be a really fun, like, or not fun, but more like
you'd have the Bloods like driving up and shooting up the fucking game developer place.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be informational, but it'd be probably very controversial at the same time.
You know what else I was thinking is, like, what if you did an online bank robbery style game, kind of like Payday, but it's all based on like real bank robberies. So like every level is a different bank from like real life that got robbed, and it's like a real layout, you know.
Just do
and a
Bonnie
different
and
time
Clyde.
Period, even like to like correspond with the robbery, you know.
So I'm saying, do that Bonnie and Clyde co-op mission, dude.
Yes, dude, that'd be cool. And then I've got one more. I think it'd be cool to do like a recreation, like a video game recreation of the Alcatraz escape that was so popular.
Dude, so the one of the guys in the escape, or the Alcatraz escape, was my boss's uncle.
Really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's her name Shelby, who works at who runs the movies. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Her uncle was one of the guys that escaped.
Really?
Yeah. They came, like, whenever they did that recent documentary about it, they came and like interviewed her dad.
Was it Frank Morris or John Anglin or Clarence Anglin?
I think it's the one that's not the Anglin brothers.
Frank Morris?
Yeah, I think it was him.
Yeah.
It's freaking weird.
It's pretty cool. Basically, I feel like that game would play a lot like that game that came out recently, where you break out of prison.
Oh, yeah. But that game's more cartoony and, like, I don't know. Something about it was cartoony.
Yeah, I think you could make it more realistic and maybe take the co-op thing out completely, you know, and just have it like a solo game.
Yeah, it'd have, like, Morgan Freeman narrate it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that.
Oh, that would be sick. But yeah.
There we go.
So there you go.
True
Got
crime
the
stories
history.
as video games. Yeah, if you guys got any good ideas, post them up. Post them up in the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/GameSpeak podcast, or just drop them as a comment here on the YouTube video.
Yeah, post up.
Yeah, so we're going to jump on over into the People's Champ. Brent, who's the People's Champ this week?
I think this week we're going to have to give it to Mrs. Sarah Brock.
Oh, shit, again.
She's doing it, man.
She's like moving towards that free T-shirt.
That greatness status, yes. Hang on, if I can find her question real quick. I know it was a good one, though. Oh, my goodness.
Sarah, where's your question?
Dude, this is impossible. Oh, look, Jeffrey commented on time this time. He actually did this like while we were recording.
That's what I like to
hear.
It's
a good thing we recorded late today. But yeah, no, Sarah wins. She says horror games are on the rise and very popular right now. What type of horror game would you create, including setting, characters, playstyle, etc.?
I'm really liking the one that we did, but I mean that's kind of cheap. But I was gonna say the horror house one would.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Ah man,
I don't know. For me, I was really scared of those Outlast games, you know, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that you don't have any kind of defense or any weapon or anything. It makes it that much scarier. So I would definitely not have any kind of weapon, you know, maybe like a stick or something. I don't know.
I want the guy who made Hereditary to like write a VR video game.
That would be scary as fuck, dude. I don't know if I could do it.
That's what I'm saying. I want a game so terrifying from him that I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like a Shining-esque, or like the Shining-esque type, like it's that kind of horror where it's more psychological and more like this is going to haunt you for days.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know.
I want a game with scary-ass dolls up in it.
Ooh, dolls are creepy.
Yeah, where you're going through this house and there's just scary dolls everywhere. Yes, a lot of that. Like porcelain dolls with their heads just spinning around like helicopters.
Like a helicopter.
Yes, dude.
I love that. Love it. Yeah, that's what we would do for some horror games.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Sarah, for your question. That was wonderful.
Yep.
We got some normal questions, some plain ass questions. No, I'm just kidding.
They're good.
Y'all are great.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We got Justin Walker here. He says, any new stuff on Fallout 76? Not really.
No.
Not since the update about the perk cards and stuff like that. But if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. Look up the Fallout perk cards. Fun stuff, interesting stuff there. We've got Matt Cook. He says, is Firewall the ultimate PSVR game ever made?
Brent claims it is.
I don't know about that. I mean, I personally still think Resident Evil is the top dog.
Yeah.
You just can't beat Capcom on this. Like, they killed it with Resident Evil on the VR part of it. You know what I mean? I mean, it was a good game all around. You know what I mean? But Firewall, I definitely think it's like a close second or third. You know what I mean? It's good, but I think with some dedicated servers, it could be up there in top dog space. However, I will say this is the most fun I've had with my VR headset in a long time. I mean, I've been playing every night for like 4 or 5 hours. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's great.
But I still think Resident Evil's better. So there you go. Let's see. We got Nick Geyer. He says, why is it that Xbox lets you download their games and on pre-order right away if they have a copy available, but PSN waits till 2 days before the drop, even though they have a completed copy? I don't know. I think maybe it's because PSN doesn't want to like get your hopes up that you're like, oh, it's ready to download. I'll just, I think they just want to give you enough time to download it so you can play it like right as it comes out.
It's because PlayStation sucks. I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. I feel like it's because they can take those liberties because PS4 is the best place to play, apparently. So they're just taking all these liberties, like and also I guess
is it that much of a liberty though if you can't even play the game until the day it comes out regardless?
Yeah, because some games might take somebody more than 2 days to download it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm serious.
Dude,
you're just about to download a 104 gigabyte game.
And I guarantee you, even at the low-ass speed internet I have, like the less than like 30 megabytes internet I've got, I could download that shit in like a day.
That's true.
Like in one 24-hour period, I could probably have it downloaded.
Yeah, I guess 2 days isn't really a big deal. But maybe it's like, you've already got it. Just go ahead and get it downloaded. I mean, I don't see why they prevent you from doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if the game is downloadable, But then again, I don't know. I've also heard that PlayStation's real particular about the shit that goes on the store. So maybe it has something to do with like if the developer needs to make changes or something to the game before then. I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know. That's our best guesses at that,
yeah.
Nick.
Yeah. Sorry we can't be a little more helpful on that one. So we got Jeffrey Lewis, and he says,
Louie?
What up, Louie? He says, so have you guys ever had paranormal experiences like ghosts or UFOs or anything that you just can't explain?
We've already done this,
yeah,
but we got to
went
do it again.
Real deep on this on one episode. I'm sure if you dig in the archives, you can find it, but we will definitely...
Yeah, because I was bad about descriptions back then, so you probably won't even be able to find it on the description. So this time we will. This will be the definitive one. Yes, we've had plenty of paranormal interactions. Is that the word? No, experiences?
I'm just going to come out and say it. My house, when I was growing up, was haunted as hell, dude.
Same.
It was ridiculous.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like both Brent and I grew up with haunted houses. We lived out near the same area.
What's fun is that me and Jamel have had a few shared paranormal experiences, which is interesting because, I've had quite a few by myself, but, there's so much more validity when you have someone there with you and something happens. It's like, whoa, we both just saw that, kind of thing. So
yeah, and it's like you would think like, oh, it's just because you're like hyping each other up, but these were physical things that happened.
Totally.
Both times. Okay, like let's start with the let's say the TV rewinding, or like whenever the carousel turned on.
So we were rewinding this TV or this tape.
We were rewinding a TV.
It was like the Matrix or something, but my VCR didn't have a rewinder on it, so we had to go into my sister's room to rewind movies. Right.
This is how old this was. This was VHS. We're stupid little kids.
Young.
And I remember what it was. It was actually GoldenEye, or not GoldenEye, Goldmember.
Oh yeah, it sure was. We were watching James Bond, and
no, not James Bond. I'm sorry, I keep saying the wrong. No, it's
Austin Powers. Austin Powers. Yeah, I'm tripping.
It was.
Sorry,
Austin
I watched
Powers.
a lot of James Bond back then too. I think that's why I thought Austin Powers was so funny. But no, so we took that into my sister's room and we were rewinding it, and we're just sitting there chatting it up, hanging out, and fucking this carousel just turns on in the corner of the room. It's like bing, ding, 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 ding. I don't really know the fucking song I was playing, but it was terrifying. And so I go over to it and like I trace the cord to the wall and it's not plugged in. There's
Nope.
There is one of those like twisty things on it where you can wind it up, but
we didn't
wind that shit up, you know what I mean? And like, dude, it was scary. We got the fuck up out of there, dude. It was wild and scary.
Yeah, and that's just one. Then we had the incident where we would always go out and ride around on. Brent had this golf cart. We called it the Humbug.
Mm-hmm.
It's a staple in our childhood, and we would just go out and drive this thing around. And we came back from the neighborhood. His parents weren't home though. Like, where'd your parents go? They like went to go down to either to your grandmother's or like they went shopping or something.
Something like that.
But we came back at the back or the front door. I guess that's the back door. The back door was open.
Yeah.
And
just hanging open.
Yeah, like and his parents wouldn't just leave the back door open. That's like insane to think that.
Yeah.
But like so. We were like, okay, maybe they're inside, but their vehicle wasn't outside. So we go inside and we hear this loud fucking thump, like upstairs, as somebody's like fucking rummaging around upstairs. So first thought, getting robbed,
So we go outside. We got the fuck up out of there and we sat on my trampoline in the backyard, right?
Yeah, we just sat on the trampoline. You called your parents. Like we had the house phone. From like right, because the house phone's like right whenever you walk in the door.
And we're watching the house the whole time. It's not like somebody could just like book it out the fucking door and we wouldn't have seen them. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I thought we were gonna get like killed.
Dude,
like,
yeah, definitely.
I for real thought that was it.
Mad scary.
And Brent's parents come home. We go in. We check the place. No one's there.
I had a very similar incident like that happen with my sister one time. We were both sitting there, and we were in the living room. We heard this big bang upstairs. And fucking, we ran outside. We waited for my parents to get there. When they got there, we went upstairs and looked, and it was like my sister's hairdryer had been like thrown across the room and like was just in pieces all over the ground.
That's fucking crazy.
It was wild, dude. And fucking, remember that time? Okay, one time me and Jamel are laying there, and we're like trying to go to sleep. We're having like a sleepover, and like we're winding down or whatever, and we're laying there, and like fucking, I was like asleep. And, like, Jamel wakes me up, and he's like, dude, stop, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, stop kicking the guitar with your foot. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
Oh, yeah, that was probably one of the more terrifying moments of my life.
Dude, we turned the light on, and the fucking guitar is, like, across the room, dude, like, sitting there. And Jamel was saying it was, like, plucking itself.
Yeah, so, like, how at the top part of the guitar, like, right where, like, you twist the strings to tighten them?
Bing.
Yeah, the little tiny, like, bing. Bing. I thought you were fucking doing that with like your toe or some shit.
Oh,
like
that's
it
scary.
freaked me the fuck out because I was like, I was just laying there. It's pitch black. Like your air conditioning. I remember this vividly because I basically almost lived at your house on weekends. But like your AC would kick on and there'd be a loud like white noise, which was fine with me. I loved the white noise, but then it would cut off every
and
like
it was
5
so
minutes.
Still.
So silent, dead silent, and all I'm hearing is this ding, ding, ding. I'm like, oh my fucking God. I'm like, Brent, stop, dude. And like whenever you didn't respond to me, whenever I said that, I was like, oh my God. I was like, Brent. like finally like woke you up. You were like, what, dude? And I'm like, stop fucking doing that. Yeah, we had to turn on the lights and stuff. I remember how terrified I was that I couldn't get back to sleep.
I had another shared experience with Dylan one time. Dylan Parton, he listens to this show a lot. For all of you out there, he was the People's Champ last year. But no, when we were kiddos, we were playing some video games like Spyro the Dragon or some shit. I remember it was PS1 and we were sitting on little plastic chairs. But, okay, let me take this back a little bit. When I was a kid, okay, this is going to sound like the most ridiculous thing you might have ever heard in your entire life. But there was like some kind of thing in my closet that would like beat on the closet every night. I know that sounds absolutely insane. You know what I mean? And my parents were like, "Oh, it's a toy in your closet." I'm like, "Nah, dude."
Nah, bro.
But like, no. So like the first time it happened, I went and woke my parents. I'm like, "There's something in my closet beating on," and they went up there and checked, and like they checked the second time, the third time, and it just happened for like 2 years or a year or something. It was a long, long time, especially to a little kid. And every night it would just bang, 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 bang on my closet. Like it would shake the fucking door of the closet. And it was like clockwork. It happened at the exact same time every night, like 11 p.m. And so one night, Dylan is staying the night, and we're sitting there playing video games. Usually I'm like laying there trying to go to sleep when this happened. And at this point, it doesn't even faze me anymore. It would happen, and I would just like kind of ignore it because I'm so used to it at this point. It would happen like the past like 30 days, so I knew it wasn't going to like hurt me or anything, And so, like, me and Dylan are sitting there, and it happens. And it's like, bang, 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 bang. And Dylan jumped out of his fucking skin, dude. Like, but, like, I don't even know. I wonder if he even remembers that. Because we were little kids, dude. It's one of those things.
I'm sure he does, dude. That's not something you forget. Those haunted, like, I'm telling you, those paranormal experiences at your place. And then, like, they're very, like, it's like palpable. Like I can feel it. I remember it. I remember the feeling of it,
I remember feeling so gratified that Dylan had seen it though. Like that's why I remember it, because like having somebody else see it and like just me knowing that I wasn't just fucking crazy, like at a young age, that's a weird feeling to like have to like validate your sanity, you know what I mean? Like, because like my parents thought I was just fucking crazy. I knew, I know they thought I was, like.
I remember, I guess one last one won't take up too much of the episode.
Yeah, we could go on all day.
All day.
This.
We need to make an entire episode about like the paranormal experiences. But this one I'm just gonna throw out because it's really funny and I might actually be crazy. So like out at, I used to live out in the middle of nowhere in fucking Huntsville. And we had like 24 acres of land, and out behind our house, we had this tree house that was like, it was basically a tree that enclosed itself with vines and other trees. Like it was a tree dome.
Makes
literally
me think of that Hereditary movie, dude.
I know.
I can't think about tree houses the same way after that shit. Like
it's so fucking creepy. But this one wasn't really creepy. So like for Christmas, my parents got me and my brother these little toolkits. They're like miniature toolkits that have real tools, but they're tiny. They're like a little hammer, like a little saw.
I remember the little hammer and shit. Like,
yeah, dude. And like, so we got those, and it was like probably 3 days after Christmas, and it's Texas, so it was warm. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go out to the tree house and cut some branches, little branches on this tree. And so I go out there with my little toolkit, and I go over to this tree branch, and there's like a little stub on it. And like I've noticed it's kind of like hollow. I'm like, oh, that'll be easy to cut. So I start cutting it, and I cut it off, and it plops down. And standing right where the stub was is this little glowing green fucking, like, I'm talking like neon green. Only way I can explain it is that it was an ostrich. Okay.
What?
This is a dead serious thing. In my whole life.
Holy shit, dude.
My mom and my older sister have made fun of me my entire life because of this. But like, I don't know if I was like so little that I like was like ate a mushroom or something and like didn't realize it was just like,
What if that's what it was, dude? What if you like ate some hallucinogens or something at a young age and like
I didn't realize it? I don't know.
You didn't realize it, you know? You would never think about that kind of thing as a kid if it happened to you.
And we had like cows everywhere out there. So I mean, it's a possibility. But the thing is like I remember this vividly. I can see it in my mind's eye right now. I remember seeing it, and I remember the first thing that came to my mind was I have to get my mom out here now, and like so she can see it. And I remember
nobody would fucking believe you, you know, like that's crazy. Yeah.
It's like it's a long run or a long trek from my mom or from our house to the tree house, especially at that age. I was tiny, and so like I take off running, and I remember throwing the saw down because I was afraid I was going to get in trouble for running with the saw. And so like and I get back to my mom, and my older sister is standing there with her in the kitchen, and I was like, "You guys have to come see this now." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Come here now." And so like they follow me. And like I'm like running out to the tree house, and whenever we get there, there's nothing there, obviously. And you know, that was it. And they just like, what? And like I told them what I saw, and they were just like, "You're ridiculous." But like that was a paranormal experience. I believe that 100%. Either that.
What
or
if you
I ate a
just
mushroom.
found some like tiny species of ostrich that just like lives in trees, and like nobody knows about them? Like, what if they're like the Keebler elves and they just like live up in that tree?
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? Like
that would be so insane. Like, dude, this little ostrich thing was like walking, and then it would like peck. It would like reach down.
So you watched it for like
just a good second. Like I saw it move. It started pecking at the tree. I'm talking, this thing is like probably that big. Like if you can see on the video.
And there's
like,
no way it could have just been some like other bird, and you're like,
what bird glows green?
I don't know, like, maybe dude, like a little parrot or something that like escaped from there.
A neon green bird the size of an ant.
There's neon green birds, but like the size of an ant?
Yeah, dude, I'm talking like it was tiny. Like
he was like little bitty.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like maybe like the size of like an army man right now for some reason.
No, dude. I'm talking way small. I'm talking it was almost like it was just a bug. What? Like the size of a bug. At first I thought it was a bug, but it was glowing. So I looked closer at it, and it was an ostrich.
Maybe it was some kind of glowing bug.
It could have been, but I just...
Have you looked into what bugs glow? I mean, like, obviously it's not like a lightning bug, but like, you know, I know there's other animals out there in the world that glow. Like, for example, I went to the zoo one time recently, and they had these fish that like flashed. It was like the coolest thing. They were like lightning bug fish, and they like flash blue.
Yeah. I saw those. This is like... It's hard to explain, dude. It felt like something out of Fantasia, like that kind of glowing, like it not in like a cartoony way, like just the way that
emitting light, like
yeah, it wasn't real. There's no way I really saw that. Like that's the thing though, is like I have that memory though. I remember seeing it. I remember. Being
it's
so
real
excited.
to you, obviously. Like I mean, it's not like
one day I'm gonna find it.
Like I don't know, like you can't just write it off completely. You know what I mean? Because like.
Maybe I ate mushrooms and just never knew it.
Well, you also have to think, you know, a lot of people think that kids have a lot more connection to like the paranormal world. Like, how old were you at this point? Maybe 8, 9?
I wouldn't have even been that old. I think I was around like 6 or 7.
There you go. See, I'm thinking, I think until you're like 8, you have like a heightened sense of like paranormal stuff. You know, I know that sounds wild, but like I feel like there's something to that. You know,
I guess I do too, in a way, especially because like all the shit we saw like as kids, and then like as we got older, it just kind of went away. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't go back to your house and hear like thumping or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, a lot of people think, you know, the closer you are to death, that the more, you know, supernatural shit you experience. And I think it works not necessarily like only in like the sense of like I'm close to death, like from old age, like I'm close to death because death, if you believe in like a reincarnation type thing, then it's like death was the beginning. So if you're at the beginning, you're still close to death, and therefore you can see spiritual
So
stuff.
like, yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you have that connection still for a little while. It like lingers.
The
That's what I
before
like.
death or before birth death. Before birth death.
Anyways, I definitely think that there's some kind of supernatural, spiritual shit going on out there. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I've seen way too much crazy shit in my life to like, meh, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Something's there. Something's out there. We're gonna find it too here on GameSpeak Podcast. We gotta do more questions.
That's it.
All right. Well then, we're gonna jump on over to Brent's segment. This week in gaming history.
This week in gaming history, on September the 8th, 2004. Can you guess what came out?
What console?
Xbox and PS2.
2004 September. What kind of game is it?
It's a racing game.
Need for Speed.
Mm-mm.
Burnout.
Yep, but which one? Which one?
2.
Nope.
3. Paradise.
No, it's 3 Takedown.
Oh,
but
3
yes.
Takedown. My bad.
No, you're good.
Okay.
But you're right. You're right. It's totally 3.
I mean, you basically gave that one to me. One of these days, I'm gonna get them. So yeah.
And then on September 7th, 2007.
Oh, the year we went to Warped Tour. It have to be. Is it Gears of War?
You're probably not gonna guess this one. It's kind of an obscure game.
What's it for?
Xbox 360.
And it's obscure. Came out 2007.
More or less obscure. It's got a lot of slow motion gunplay in it.
Max Payne.
No, way more obscure than Max Payne.
Oh.
Xbox 360 too. I think Max Payne
that.
was on original Xbox.
I'm trying to remember what that game was, where like you just like walk in and like you could like slow down time. Was it Fear? No.
You could slow down time in one of the Fear games, I think, but it wasn't Fear that I'm talking about. It was a third-person shooter. You'll never guess it. We might guess it.
What is it?
It's John Woo's Stranglehold.
No, I would have never guessed that. But I do remember that game. I remember getting the demo.
Yeah, me too. The demo was pretty good, but the full game was pretty good too. I mean, you know, nowadays it wouldn't hold up at all, but
they could remake a game like that though and like make it modern.
It was originally going to get a sequel called Gun Runner, but Midway, the gaming company, went into financial ruin mid-production of that game.
Financial devastation.
It's a shame. They put out a lot of good games before their ultimate demise.
Is Mortal Kombat not with Midway anymore? Oh no, they're with WB.
I was going to say I don't think they are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
But yeah, there you go.
Sweet. Well, that's been it for the show, guys. We covered a lot of shit this episode. A lot of fun shit. It's going to be in the description, so make sure you guys know. Remember, you've been listening to GameSpeak Podcast, courtesy of CreateForSanity.com. The show posts for free every Wednesday on all podcast directories. Be sure to submit any questions you want read on the show to GameSpeak Podcast Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/GameSpeak Podcast. Check out our video content on YouTube, like, right here, Create for Sanity. YouTube. It's all one word. Come check us out. Look at your boys. We're on a screen. We're floating. We're doing things. I don't know. We're not floating. But anyways. And if you want to stay up to date with your boys, you can find me on Twitter at the handle Al-Jaffer Jamel and Brent at Brent Has One. That is the number 1. And check out the GameSpeak Podcast Instagram. Until next time, listeners.
Goodbye, y'all. Y'all need just get on out of here.